Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Spencer Keck here in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. It's 12th of January, 2026, and I am running for magistrate here in Hardin County. Now, guys, I'm a veteran of the armed services, and so I just want to talk to you now about something I've seen going on, and it's bothered me just a little bit. Seems like I'm wondering, have some of the folks that we used to think of as servants, have they now become viewed as masters? Lawyers for Senator Mark Kelly filed a lawsuit Monday seeking to block Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth's move to cut Kelly's retirement pay and reduce his rank in response to Kelly's urging of U.S. service members to refuse illegal orders. The lawsuit also argues punishing Kelly violates the First Amendment and will have a chilling effect on legislative oversight. That's as reported by the AP and CNN and others. So this reminds me of one thing I knew the whole time I was in the armed services. I was part of providing a service to my nation. And this nation provided me with money for my college education as part of thanking me for my service. Now, this nation provided me with food and shelter while I was on active duty in order to thank me for my service. The key word here is service. As a member of the armed services, I was not a member of the armed rulers. I was a member of the armed services. As a provider of a service to my nation, it was my duty to never demand that civilians defer to my whims, desires, or political ideology. I was in the military to serve my nation, and that is made up of farmers, teachers, ranchers, waitresses, cooks, union laborers, and workers of many stripes and persuasions. I had guys I served with that looked down on civilians, and the word civilian itself was a word of derision to them. This was never the case for me. I knew who I served. I served to defend the Constitution, my family, and my civilian community. Among the civilians I served, there are also the civilians elected to represent the people of our land. I served them as long as they upheld the Constitution that I swore true faith and allegiance to and swore that I would defend. Whiskey Pete Hegseth should never use the military to prosecute a civilian leader. Senator Kelly is retired from the Navy and is now a full-time civilian representing the citizens of the USA. He must be loyal only to the Constitution and his ability to fight for Americans to enjoy the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. There once was an active duty United States sailor named Captain Kelly. Now that man has a higher rank as a civilian. He's now Senator Kelly. The armed services cannot prosecute a United States civilian leader. The armed services are here to take orders from their federal civilian government leaders, of which Kelly is one. The tail shall not wag the dog. The tail is an appendage of, and therefore a servant of, the dog. The armed services must not make our nation a third world nation by declaring military law, also known as martial law, on civilians. Senator Kelly is now a civilian. And that's the word that we have to get here. Services and civilians. Former U.S. Navy SEAL and current civilian Governor Jesse Ventura said recently, once a country has military roaming the streets, actively policing citizens, then that country is a third world country. Now, I saw this many times in countries I was sent to by the Navy and Marine Corps units I served with. I never wanted my country to be ruled by the military. Once that occurs, the military is a bunch of armed rulers, not comprised of service men and service women, but simply mercenaries of the government. We cannot allow this to happen to our service branches or the Constitution and people they serve when they must serve with faith and fidelity. So this, to me, is a key issue right now in our nation. It affects Hardin County. We have many men and women here who are veterans. They served proudly on active duty and honorably, and they retired here in this community. They're now civilians. We have plenty of active duty servicemen and women serving and living here in Hardin County. But again, this is a service. So we must demand that our politicians remember who they are supposed to serve. Anyone elected is elected as a public servant, not to wag the dog. The dog is supposed to wag them. So let's put them back in their place. Remind them we are not to be terrorized by them for engaging in our First Amendment rights. And it's all about that. Our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and our ability to live a life full of life, liberty, and happiness. All right, got a few folks here saying hello. So I got little Luna saying hi. Hi, little Luna. Jay Broyles saying hello. Hello, Jay Broyles. How are you? Who else we got here? Let's see. We've also got little Luna again saying what's up, I guess. Yep. So good to see you guys here. Appreciate you stopping in late at night here to see what's happening. Hopefully, little Luna and Jay Broyles, your evening's going well. And mine's drawing to a close now. So, guys, gals, we got to love our neighbors as ourselves, because that's the only way that in Kentucky, united we stand, divided we fall. We know that we are our brother's keeper, we're our sister's keeper. So y'all have a great one. God bless your corazón.